Okay, so somebody asked for tips while playing Nurse. That's hard to actually give tips because there's just so many things. My reshade's missing it. There's just so many things to know. So, I mean, I'm starting off by just going to the farthest gens for me. Usually if you go to the farthest gens, you usually find people. So this is rough because you're in Karn, but I'm gonna blink like right behind her. And she keeps running straight, kind of. So she double backs. So this should be an easy hit. I'm not even blinking. Now I blink. There's someone else. So that I blinked kind of like behind them, and then I didn't even use the second blink because she ran back into me. So one thing is patience with like... One thing is patience, and I kind of lack that with the second blink. I'm inclined to just immediately use the second blink all the time. When you always shouldn't do that. Right, so immediate unhook. I'm gonna look this way and see. I don't really... There they are. So behind her, now I can use the second blink because she kept running. But there was a little delay in there. You have this very small window between your two blinks where I actually didn't charge the second one for like, I don't know if it was a half a second or something, because I was just going to see if she ran back into me. So it's a very small window, and the muscle memory, and she just DCs because she feels like she's getting tunneled. The muscle memory is very... I don't want to say very hard to get, but it does take getting used to. Because you have a small window before you go into fatigue. So there's someone. I'm going to do a full blink because I see them running far away. But now they went in here. So I don't use a second blink, obviously. I'm going to get both of them back. You always want to have two. I'm going to blink behind her. And then use the second blink to follow up. So the first blink is more like placement. The second blink is more of a reaction to what they do. So first blink, she walks into it, I just swing. I don't know why my nose is always itchy when I play. I don't feel like my nose is normally itchy like my face, but for whatever reason when I play this game, my face just itches a lot. I can't explain it. Could be like the fans that I have blowing on me. So yeah, I didn't use the second blink there. I just let her run into me. So it's kind of like a patience game. This gen's got progress. I see scratch marks that way, so I'm going to kick this with pop. I don't have any aura reading. I prefer to not have aura reading because it makes you get better at trying to just know where people might be, which sometimes you're not going to get like those, like if you have aura reading, like nowhere to hide, you're going to get these easy hits where someone's going to be like behind the rock and you'll just be able to blink right on them. But without it, you don't really get the simple hits. It takes more of you actually finding them. So another thing you want to do is try to practice, like when you land your blinks, like say this area right here is a very small area. So you want to be able to place your blink like right in this area, because if you don't do it like far enough, and you don't want to swing unless you know you're going to get it. But if you go like too far, like objects hitboxes will stop your blinks. You won't be able to go through them. I'm gonna throw this game just blinking around. See, that was one blink.
Yeah, I go by the hand closing.
Behind her.
So these tips are helping a little.
I don't look at the hand closing because I'm just too busy trying to look at the survivors. I don't even know where she just went. Oh. So in that case, like I blink, instead of trying to blink through this, I blinked here and then I curved around like that. You want to go like around the outside edges of objects because otherwise you'll hit the object, you'll get caught on it. I don't know if I can make this pain res before they pop another gen. There's just so many tips. I'm kind of like jumping around. Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, that's the bot. Okay. So you don't really care. You don't really need to break pallets and walls and stuff because you can blink through them. You might want to occasionally to prevent something like lithe scratch marks. Look, they're really cranking the gen. So I got caught up in like trying to give tips, and they're just rushing the gens really hard. They're in this direction. See, I don't know where they are, so I didn't take the second blink. I get my 2 blinks back as I look for them. See, I'm not going to take that second blink because I lost line of sight. So a lot of it is patience, not just that was a mistake. I didn't hold it long enough, so I didn't go through. Like I hit a hitbox or something. I'm not holding long enough. I might even be hitting her hitbox, getting in the way. I don't know, she's just kind of juicing me now. So in that case, I'm faking one direction and then I'm flicking in another direction last second. I don't know where she went. She probably went right back. Survivors like to run over their own scratch marks and go in the direction that they already were in. That they already came from, because it throws you off when they go over their own scratch marks and head backwards. They double back a lot. I don't think I'm going to make a pain res, unfortunately. There's somebody here. I'm getting their aura because of eruption. This is about to blow up. I'm going to... Oh, okay, it's already regressing. So I think they're just going to pop the last gen, honestly. Nope, maybe not, because that guy... So you want to count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Endurance is gone. I think I need to get back to this gen before they pop it. It's gonna pop it in my face. No, she left. I messed up that blink, but she walked into it. So I'm just gonna kick this, even though I probably should have looked at one of them and got pop and then kicked it. I'm gonna try to find this one before she gets up. Oh, and here he is. So forget them on the ground. Actually, I'm gonna go hook. Could have just followed him, but I think I'm just gonna... No, I'm gonna Mori. By the time he realizes I'm mooring, I don't know if he'll get to the other survivor and pick them up yet, but he might. He probably will. Because these survivors seem pretty efficient. At least on gens. Alright, she's back up. She was over here. There he is. He just juked that and I missed. An easy hit. Alright, so pallets. I'm just whiffing right now. Because I'm trying to think about like showing you something, but they're on last gen. So She might be all the way on this other gen by now. I usually take the hill for line of sight. Yeah, that's where she is. And she runs off this way. He's gonna pop the last gen, I think. That was a good juke. She went in here and went around. So it was a risky second blink. That was a mistake because I didn't wait for my second blink to come back. I thought I had it. And just always expect them to double back. It's kind of annoying, but that's just what they do. They always change directions on you when you're blinking. Not always. Some will run straight, but that was her first hook. So we got 2 gens cranking. It gives me time to kick this with pop. Oh no, I can't kick it because it's already it blew up from pain res. He unhooks her. They're over here somewhere. Headed back to that gen. Double back, as usual. No, I'm just gonna put her on this hook here. I'll probably pop this last gen. Scratch marks, he's right there. So I'm holding. Yeah, he rushes right in for a save. In that case, I just went for it. Don't really care if I get stunned. But normally what you would do there is try to get a quick swing instead of a lunge. Like a lunge is when you hold your mouse button to do a long lunge, and a quick swing is when you just tap it. If you do the quick swing at the pallet, could have sworn I saw him over there unless I'm seeing things. If you do the quick swing at the pallet, you might get the hit before, even if they hit you with the pallet, like you'll still get a hit on them. Not always, like if you're positioned right. So I'm gonna kick this with Eruption, so if I down him. In this case, I assumed he was gaining distance. I don't think he was. He went back, I think. Oh, they're both here. So those are kind of predictions, assuming she was going to go in that direction through the walls. But prediction blinks are not the safest. Where's this guy? See, that's why I don't use aura reading, because I kind of like, I'd rather be able to find them without it, but they're definitely lurking around here. There he is. And windows you would play like that. So windows and pallets are usually not safe. See, he double backs, but I think we still have a pain res. I know, so itchy. I think we have a pain res on him, maybe? Yeah. So, I don't know what gen she's at. See, there I used 2 blinks because I just wanted to travel far quickly. So sometimes you'll use 2 blinks. See, I knew she was going to get a fast unhook because that's what they've been doing. But generally speaking, the first blink would be for traveling and positioning. and you would reserve your second blink and try to always have 2 blinks when you're in chase. Unless you're trying to really like cover ground and catch up. She's here though. I don't know what she's trying to do. Here, I'll let her unhook him. I think he's just gonna off himself. See if she gets him. Should I mori one of them? Alright, so blinking, right? So you want to be able to, like, when you're going through something, you don't want to just blink like this, right? Straight. You want to turn your blink during the blink like this, so that I'm facing this way. So that way, if she's on the gen there, and I blink like this, and I'm here, right? If I land like this, if she runs that way, my second blink can catch her here. If she runs the other way, my second blink can catch her there. If I see that she runs that way, I still can, like, I place my blink here, she runs this way, I go here and could still catch her. So it's about placing your blink, your first blink, in a spot where no matter what the survivor does, you can get them. Which obviously is harder depending on what they do, because some survivors are very unpredictable in their movements. But if I were to land my first blink right here, like that, then I have a lot of options covered. See how she double back? Not like she's in chase or anything, but... So, let's say I'm chasing her. I want to imagine that she has like a tail behind her. So I'm not going to try to blink right on her like this, because if she does turn directions, I'm going to lose a lot of distance. But I would blink more like behind her, like she has a tail. Like I'm blinking on a tail, right? So sometimes you're going to want to cut them off. But generally speaking, you want to blink in this area that's like around them, behind them. Because if I land here, right, and they keep going straight, assuming we're not at the gate, but let's say they keep going straight, I still have enough blink that I can get them. But if they turn back and run towards me, I'm still in a position to where I can hit them. If that makes sense. I'm placing the first blink in a spot that no matter what they do, if I react right and my muscle memory's on and it's all according to that, but in theory, if I place my first blink right, it should be almost a guaranteed hit. Now, obviously, it's harder when they're breaking line of sight constantly.
I'm about to load into a bot lobby to try it all out lol.
It's kind of a lot to take in, and it's hard to, like, I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff out there. I was trying to give, like, a bunch of tips. It's like, all jumbled up. Really, the best way to probably learn it would be to focus on one thing at a time, like, first the muscle memory and turning your camera during the blink so that you're facing the right direction and stuff like that. Like, learning it in steps. But there is, like, I want to say, like, there's somewhat of a formula to it where if you stick to the form, like, you're going to be tempted to want to blink through a wall or cut them off or snipe them ahead of them. Like you're going to be tempted to do all that stuff or immediately charge your second blink or swing. But a lot of it is about the patience of not doing those things and actually following somewhat of a formula, which some people call safe blinking, I guess. And it's more like the best way people describe it is blinking to the last place you saw them rather than the place you think that they're going. Because if you blink to the place that you think they're going and they turn the other direction, you lose a whole bunch of distance. Sometimes you will want to blink to the place you think they're going because some survivors will change it up. Like some survivors will just hold W and go straight and get distance. Others will double back. And then the really good survivors will switch things up. Sometimes they'll double back, sometimes they'll hold W. Then it becomes a mind game of like, what is this survivor going to do? So you have to actually learn how to, because a lot of them, the good ones, are looking back at you and they see, like, you know, when you blink, you charge your, you put up your fist and you charge your blink, and you know the way that you're facing is the way that you're going. So the survivor looking back at you sees that and they're like, okay, they're blinking in that direction. I'm going to juke and go this way. So you have to, I don't know how you do it on console, but you know, with the mouse and keyboard, you have to start getting good with flicks, which is like I charge my blink and I'm looking this way, but at the last second I flick and I go that way. And those are hard to do because you have to time it right with the accuracy of knowing that you're going to land here if you flick. And it's all about like when you let go of the mouse and where you flick and where you aim. And it becomes like kind of tricky to do. So that's why a lot of times for fun, I just practice like spinning around in blinks and 360s and flicking in different directions because it's just practicing. So there's that element too of like faking your blink in one direction and then changing it at the last second because the good survivors, like I said, are looking at you and they have really good reaction time. They're like, okay, well, they're going this way. And then they cut back to the other side of the rock, but you set them up for that in a way where you faked them. You made it look like, oh, I'm going to go this way. And as soon as they double back, you flicked and you caught them off. So you like forced them to go in the direction that you wanted them to go by faking your blink in one direction. And that stuff I would say becomes more like intricate or more like high level nurse play because it's not that easy to do. And like when you first start doing it, I mean, for me, when I first started trying to do that, I messed up a lot. But you just keep doing it over and over, or practicing it, or practicing on things that like you're just on the map, like I showed you, like maybe there's a car and you just practice blinking through it, holding the blink for the right time so that your muscle memory goes through the car, like, and then do the same car like long ways and get your muscle memory with that stuff. Because the very first thing you need is the muscle memory of actually landing your blink where you want it to be. But then the really difficult part is in the chases when people are moving. Now you can land your blink where you want it to be, hopefully most of the time. A lot of times I'll still get caught up on things because hitboxes stop you from blinking. But once you can place your blink where you want it to be, now it's a matter of knowing where to place it at the right time and doing things like that where you're faking it and flicking in a different direction. So like let's say you're playing against a Swift and you're in chase with someone.
You're a really
and
good nurse, though. I've seen you play her before when you're 100% focused.
let's say you're chasing someone and they tell their team, oh, don't worry, she's on me, right? And you're aiming your blink at them and you're chasing them, but mid chase you suddenly flick, and now you flicked up to like the main gen where somebody was working and you catch them off guard because their teammate was like, oh, don't worry, she's on me, because they see you aiming the blink towards them and you're chasing them, but you suddenly flick somewhere else. And in order to do that kind of stuff, you have to be able to flick and know where you're going, and then also be within the right range that you land there. And I feel like those are the trickier aspects. And then there's the whole macro game itself of knowing when to drop chases, which I have an issue with because not an issue, but a problem with. Like, I like to chase. I think the chases are the most fun part. So when a survivor is running really well, I want to chase them. I don't want to drop the chase and go patrol a gen and go kick a gen and find another survivor that's lurking and hiding around in a jungle gym somewhere. Like, I like going for the fun chases, but those chases against a good team will just cost you the game. Because the other survivors, if they're efficient, they'll all be on gens. So if you really want to win in that aspect of the macro game, I think this applies to all killers. You have to know when to drop chases. Like, let's say you're on one map and there's a cluster of 3 or 4 gens on one side of the map, but there's only 1 or 2 on the other side. And the survivor, when you get in chase, the survivor's always trying to take you to that side of the gen the side of the map that doesn't really have the gens, or it's a dead zone, or they take you to the corner. They take you as far away as possible because they know that eventually they're going to go down. But they want to have you so far from the gens that if you were to down them and by the time you pick them up and get them to a hook, like, you're losing a generator or 2 on the other side of the map because their team's being efficient. So it's kind of similar in the sense of when, like, survivors are teabagging at you or clicking their flashlights and they want you to chase them, or you'll start off a match and you'll immediately find a survivor because they want you to find them. They'll be running out in the open kind of towards you and you'll think, oh, what's that idiot doing? They're just out in the open. But really they want you to chase them because they want to be the first chase. And maybe they're the best runner on the team. And maybe they have a plan, like the person that's going to unhook them is going to have deliverance, and the person that gets your attention and wants you to chase them, they have decisive strike, and they have dead hard, and they have off the record. So they're deliberately wanting you to chase them. So you have to kind of, in your mind, say, like, okay, for some reason that person wants me to chase them, but they're not doing anything efficient on gens, so maybe ignore them, go out, target someone else. And then when you catch them out of position, hit them, maybe chase them a little bit, but surprise them and drop chase and go for someone else. But that's more like the macro game as a killer in general. You have to pressure all people and catch them out of position. But Nurse specifically is a lot about the muscle memory. You'll see certain survivors don't look back, so you can blink on them and they're most likely not going to try to juke you. And then other survivors are always looking back and you could assume they're going to juke you. Why don't these people just leave?
One of the best slowdowns is not chasing the person wanting to be chased.
One of the best slowdowns is not chasing the person wanting to be chased. I mean, I'm kind of torn on that because it's like, I want to chase them. I'm like, oh, you want to chase? Sure, let's go. But really all that's doing is, like, it's saying, okay, I'm going to chase you for a couple minutes and I'm going to lose 4 gens in the process. Oh, I almost lost my add-ons. Alright, got them back. So some people will like a lot of aura reading, and that's fun. It makes hitting targets easier. But like I said, I try to avoid aura reading for the most part because I want to get better. And also, like, if you think about like comp players, which I'm not a comp player, but when you think about it, I think most aura reading perks are actually not allowed. On Nurse, at least. I don't know about the rest of the killers. I mean, I find gen slowdown, gen regression to be almost needed. Obviously, there are some nurses out there, like Nightlight, who don't need anything, but generally, I like to have things like pop, pain res when I can get a pain res hook near me. Certain perks are not going to work on Nurse, like Jolt is not going to work on a special attack, which Surge, the name is Surge now, was Surge and it became Jolt, now it's Surge again. Certain perks are not going to work, like Sloppy Butcher is not going to give you much value because it requires a basic attack. Any exposed perks like Starstruck, Noed, anything that's going to make people exposed is really not going to work with a special attack. So I used to really hate this map. I don't think it bothers me that much anymore, but I'm going to head to a far gen. I see two people on this. Right, she runs right into me, not sure
I
why.
didn't know that you knew Tots till I saw your post.
Tots? Who's Tots? And she DCs. I wasn't even gonna hook her, I was just gonna leave her there. But it's a bot now, so might as well. So up there in the top it says damage generator plus 100. That means I got full value of the pain res. Who's Tots? In what post? What are you talking about?
Tots, a streamer that plays W no perks at all.
Oh, Mr. Taterhead? Is that his nickname, Tots? Yes, I was watching him before he was big famous. Now everybody knows about him. No more gatekeeping. I don't know, right now...
Yellow.
What are you doing? Why are they playing like babies? So chasing in this house is hard. But see, you might want to practice something like this. Like blinking, you know, here. You might want to practice blinking around objects. Really? You think that was funny? So, aiming your blink down will either send you down, or it will make your blink shorter. So if I hold a full blink and I aim down, I'm gonna blink in place. So let's say they do run back at me. That might be something I want to like react to, right? So in this case, here's like a flick. I'm aiming this way, but I flick this way. And she's not there. I think she went backwards. I don't know. I don't even know where she went. I let her get too much distance. So a lot of this stuff you can't really blink through. I'm doing good. How are you? A little itchy on the face for some reason, but that's always the case when I play this. I don't know why. I think it might just be the fans. I have fans going on in the room and maybe they're just blowing dust in my face. So certain stuff makes it hard to blink through. See all this stuff, you're gonna try, if you try to blink up here, you're gonna run into hitboxes and stuff. So this is the bot. Might as well just kill it, right? So she's running up there. Let's say I flick this way. See, I didn't blink there. because I wasn't close enough on the second blink. So it's better for me to get the second blink back, use the first to position, then I can use the second. I could have hit her, but I was just trying to show you. See behind her? I blink behind her. Instead of trying to go for like a one blink hit there, I still use two just to be safe. Because you don't know what the survivors are going to do. So let's say where that went off, right? So I'm looking this way, and then I'm like this. And I end up over here. So you want to practice stuff like that, I guess? Because let's say a survivor can see me right now, and they say, like let's say her, right? They see me, and they see me holding my blink this way, and she's on comms,
Really smart.
and she says, "Oh, Nurse is blinking to main gen," and I suddenly I'm over here, you know, and someone's on this chat, and I catch them because she saw me aiming my blink in that direction. But even still, I didn't land that perfectly. So let's say I'm going here, but I want to blink there. So I'm here, but I want to blink there. So I suddenly, see, I totally messed that up and ended up over here. So the flicking is really hard to actually get where you want it to go. See, that's more like where I would want to be. Two of them quit. Like, why? I'm not even doing anything. Literally just giving tips. So I see scratch marks over there. Well, let's say you might just want to practice it. Like you're at this gen, right? But there's that one there. And you're aiming at this one. And then you want to like try to go to this one. See how I landed perfectly on this gen? While I was totally aiming for that gen or that direction. That, obviously there was no purpose of that other than me just practicing being able to do that. So the more you practice being able to do things like that, the more you can actually get value out of it when it matters. See, this thing is really hard to blink through. It's kind of a waste. It's like your blink really doesn't go through this very well because of the angle, like the shape of it. I only have 2 hooks. Oh, see that? I should have waited. I wasn't expecting the dead hard. Well played. Alright, so in this case, blink behind her, or maybe I try to cut her off. Like, if they're far and they don't really see me, they're most likely going to keep running. So at that point, you could go for like a long blink.
Some structures can mess you up.
Oh yeah, a lot of structures will mess you up. I don't know. Some of it's like, I just want to say some of it's 50-50, just kind of a good guess. And then other stuff is following kind of a formula.
Most definitely.
So, you know, I see her here, she double backs, right? So I don't see the scratch marks continuing, so I know she went back over her scratch marks. And like I said, survivors will do that. They'll run right back over their own scratch marks. So there's Lithe. So I'm going to try to zone them, like blink in this direction and cut them off. And that was kind of just kind of a guess that they were going to continue running straight. But she goes back this way. And kept going. So, was it, which one? I don't know, man. I think I'm just going to do it. What do you think? Should I do it? The Meg is up. Should I Mori? If I don't Mori, they're gonna win.
Yes.
And even if I do Mori, they're still gonna probably get like 3 out, but it's like bots I'm playing against. So something tells me the other one, the actual player, is probably gonna be coming in for that pickup. Because she's death up, so they're not just gonna leave her laying there. Or are they? Alright, whatever, we'll just do it. But they probably popped the last gen now. Yep. I wasn't really playing to win that one, I was playing to just show more tips. So of course I'm gonna be at a gate now. Not this one. So they'll all get out. Because it's too far to get to that gate.
There's the smart tactics problem.
Yeah, they all go. Should have moried her initially when I took her, but I wasn't really playing to win that. Because 2 people DC'd. I was just gonna kind of kill the bots and let the other 2 live anyway, but one gets a throat massage. So you just want to practice things like this right here. You know? How I turn my camera. You're gonna be like, haha, P100 Nurse. You lose? P100 Nurse and you lose? You're so bad at the game. I don't know, that was probably a lot to digest, but I've been thinking for a long time to make a nurse guide, like in detail, but it just seems like a big project to actually do it. Like I'd have to go into a custom lobby probably with someone and really go over things one by one, like different tiles and chasing in different areas, main buildings and things like that, and just showing things. Like this is me just like babbling a bunch of tips off the top of my head during gameplay. But I would like to do a nurse guide, and then like I said, one, it just seems like a big task to actually cover it all.
Maybe for a YT video, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, but I don't know how long it would be because people don't really watch long videos. Like if I'm gonna make a tutorial that really covers everything and then it's gonna be like 3 hours long, like who's gonna watch that? People want to digest something that's like 10, 15 minutes tops like that. And then at the same time, like I don't even know if I feel qualified to make a tutorial like that. Because the stuff that I know is just stuff that I know, but there's probably stuff I don't know, and there's might even be things that
Quick and easy
I'm
tips, yes.
teaching wrong. Yeah, see, I don't know how to put it all into quick and easy tips. I guess maybe I could. Maybe I could summarize it all, and then
That's
it
true.
wouldn't really be in that much detail. It would just be like, here's how to blink around pallets, and here's how to blink around windows. Here's how to do this. And if the survivor double backs, you do that. And here's where to position your blink. But if they do that, then you do this. And it would just be like all crammed in, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how helpful that would be.